Hi there, this is Russell Saunders from Let's Get Racing. This is part of our series of interviews with people who expand the notion of diversity within horse racing. So we're very lucky today, we're joined by a lady called Claudia McDougall. And Claudia has a couple of different roles, one which is a full-time job, which I'll get her to talk about in just a little bit. One of which is an organisation that she's involved in. I'll also get her to talk about some of the things that she has loved about working in horse racing and how she got into it. So Claudia, thank you ever so much for joining us. First question, so you work for Dolly Stallions and you're a nomination sales executive. Can you tell me a bit about what that means?
Okay, it's how do you want it? My mum would describe me as a pimp for horses, which is yeah, it's a bit of a weird way of saying it. So it's essentially a sales role. So we have 13 stallions on roster this season. It's part of my job is to get mares for these stallions. So I'm a small part of a very large team. There's 7 of us that to do with the sale and nominations. And the stallions have gone fantastically this year, and it's mainly client driven. We do a lot of hospitality, a lot of speaking to people, client relations, getting out on the farms, looking at foals, looking at yearlings, looking at horses at the sales. So it's quite a diverse job. It's not stuck in an office 9 to 5. It's really varied, which is part of the reason I really enjoy it.
Sure. And so you work for Dolly Stallions. So who would be the most famous stallions that you have on your books there?
Oh, most famous stallion, obviously, Dolly. Yeah, Britain's #1 stallion. He's sire of over 40 Group 1 winners now. He's a bit of a superstar, and he consistently covers mares in the world. So we teach ourselves a lot of the time being in an office next door to a yard with a horse like that in it, and just being able to walk outside at lunchtime and you've got him with his head over the door there. It's crazy.
So let's say we've got a mare, and she's quite a decent mare, and we've got a bit of money available for her next breeding. How much would we be looking at to mate her with Dubarry? What's the official figure?
About the price of a house.
About the price of a house.
He is £250,000 a season. So when you sign a contract, it entitles you to cover the mare 3 times essentially in one season. So the season will run from around 14th, 15th of February through to end of May, June. So if your mare isn't in the first time she visits him, she can come the 3rd time because he's pretty fertile anyway. But that's what our contract covers. So most stallion farms in the UK and Ireland will run under 1st of October special live foal terms. Be very similar structure to us. So when your mare is scanned in foal on the 1st of October, around that time, end of September, they'll be scanned to check that she is still carrying and holding service. And if she is, you'll then get an invoice from the stallion farm. If anything should happen then between you paying that invoice and her foaling, or the foal dies at birth, you would then either get your money back or a free season, depending on what the other farm's contract says. But that's what the SLF will be, special life foal. So.
Okay, so you're not just any pimp, according to your mum. You're a high pimp. You're like the highest end pimp, probably.
Well, I suppose we kind of have a horse to suit most people, as it were. Obviously, we have a horse like Dubarry, who is top end. He is really, really special. And we've got so many horses on roster, Group 1 horses that are more affordable prices for normal people. It can be difficult being a normal person paying that sort of money. But yeah, we try and have something for everyone in that sense. And I mean, we aim to stand horses that are good race horses and turn out to be fantastic stallions as well. So we're not doing too badly. We had Night of Thunder last year who did us proud. So we've got a few more in the pipeline that should be quite exciting as well. So.
Cool. And so how did you get into horse racing and specifically into the breeding industry? What was your route in?
So my mum had a couple of pointers that she tried doing a bit of pointing on. She didn't ever win. Best she came was fourth, but she never fell off, which is pretty good in that sense. So I had a pony when I was a kid. I wouldn't really say it was kind of a racing background. I mean, my mum's parents weren't horsey at all. She started riding at a riding school when she was 4 and just kind of built herself up to be able to have a couple of horses that she could try and train herself and race herself. And eventually she went down to just having her horse and my pony. So I was always around horses, always had ponies. Spent most Saturday afternoons watching the racing with mum. She'd take me up to Newmarket when I was a kid just to watch the horses on the gallops, or it was always really exciting going up to Gibson Saddlery or going up Warren Hill, or just going for a cup of tea somewhere there because it was Newmarket and there were all the race horses around. And I used to sit and read all her stallion books, 1980s stallion books, and I'd be going through and she'd have these. She always had an ex-race horse. She never had anything else. And I'd be going, Polo, he's by this horse, and his dam is by this horse, and this one's linked to this one, and you're sort of 8, 9 years old, and you're coming out with stuff like that. So I was really interested in the sort of pedigree side of it already. And then I was horse obsessed. I've been horse obsessed forever. I still am. Went to college, did a horsey course there, as it were. Got enough UCAS points to get into university to study, guess what, horses. So I did a degree in equine sports science at Hartlepool College. And I was working on a pre-training and breaking yard at the time. I can't say I was any particularly good at staying on horses that were just broken in. I spent most of the time on my backside than I did in the saddle. And my old boss will tell you that quite fondly. In fact, he used to think it was absolutely hilarious. Would fall off continually. And we were actually next door to Tween Hills. So they asked if I would help out on one of their yearling shows, which I said, yeah, no problem. So I went down and did that. And they asked me if I wanted to do a season with them. So I started working down there. And I suppose I kind of fell into the bloodstock side as opposed to moving into it. I'd never really thought about it before. I'd always thought about just riding the horses in and doing that side. So actually suddenly being with the foals and learning about foaling and learning about everything that goes with it, I thought, actually, this is probably where I should be, not the other side. So and it kind of progressed from there.
Sure. And so how long now have you been working at Dolly Stallions?
So I actually came in, I'll be 5 years for the company in July. I actually worked on the farms originally, so I worked on the foaling farms. So very hands-on, again, with horses, mainly for the practical side than anything else. And to be honest, got a hell of a lot of help, and got really lucky that they decided they wanted to look for someone else in noms. And I got told by one of the assistant stud managers that I should be applying for it. And by luck, and they decided to take a punt on me, which, was pretty amazing. There was quite a lot of celebrations.
I'm sure. And one of the things that I'm always really impressed with, so many of the people that I know who work in horse racing or in the breeding industry, as well as working day in, day out around or with horses, also have their own. I know that you've got 2 of your own horses. Can you tell us a little bit about them and what you do with them?
So I've got 2. My first one, my oldest one, he's 22 now. I've had him for 15 years. He's not an ex-race horse. He's a 3/4 thoroughbred. I got him when I was 15, and he's been everywhere with me. He's had a go at everything. He's a bit of a legend. So he's given me a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun together. So he's now retired, and I'm just trying to give him a nice retirement. So he just sort of dodgers around the field, getting fed a lot, getting lots of treats, and just gone back to being a horse really, which is kind of what, you know, he deserves to have a nice retirement. So, and then and there was some unknown reason a couple of years ago, I was looking for a Shetland pony or something to keep him company, and it was actually Brian Smart's wife, Vicky, and they train up in North Yorkshire. She sent me a message and said, "Do you want Tiger Shark?" I said, "What is Tiger Shark?" And she said, "He's a 3-year-old lethal force that's raced 5 times, and he's not a racehorse, so we need to find him a new home. Do you want him?" So it took me all of about 2 minutes to decide whether I'd have him or not. And a week after, this very gangly iron grey racehorse turned up on a Eric Gillies box from North Yorkshire. So yeah, and he's from pretty cool. We gave him a year of just wandering around the field with Guy, you know, putting a bit of condition on, because when they come out of training, they're athletes, so their muscles are all tight, fit. We put them out in the field, and everything just literally lets down. We say when a horse comes out of training, it lets down, and that's what we did for a year with him. Just let everything kind of relax, and him to try and remember how to be a normal horse again. A lot of time out in the field with Dr. Green, which was good for him. And yeah, I started riding him, and he's done everything I've wanted so far. Now, yeah, have a lot of fun with him at the moment, and hoping that he might go and do some good things. So, fingers crossed.
From an equine perspective, there couldn't really be much of a bigger difference between a Shetland pony and a former racehorse. So,
yeah.
so I'm really pleased that it's worked out. It's the shift from probably one of the smaller types of horses, which are pretty docile, although pretty quirky, to one of the bigger, more athletic types of horse. So I'm really pleased.
He's probably more well behaved than a Shetland pony anyway, so he'd be far less trouble in that sense. But yeah, he's not quite what I was looking for, but he's turned out pretty good. I'm a bit of a sucker for greys, so that's probably part of the reason.
Who isn't, right? So just the final thing I wanted to ask you about before we finish is the Thoroughbred Club. So can you tell us a little bit about that and your role within the Thoroughbred Club?
Yeah, so the Thoroughbred Club is set up by the Thoroughbred Breeders Association, the TBA, and it's for any young people that are interested in racing and bloodstock, to try and, you know, get more people interested, open up all the options there are career-wise, expand people's knowledge. We're trying to do more with education, so more courses. We offer a bursary to people if they want to go on to, you know, any of the British Racing School courses, stud secretaries courses, the stud farm course. We even gave a real wide range of things you can do. And we also do loads of visits as well. So we've done loads of exciting ones. I mean, last year, they went to Whitesbury Manor, they went to the Weatherby's, Cheekley Park. The year before we did a whole day. So in the morning they came to Darley. I gave them a tour around, and they came and saw Derbarwi. Everyone met Derbarwi and fed them carrots, etc. And then in the afternoon they went up to Juddmonte and they went and saw Frankel. So it was a pretty special day. We had a lot of people, coachload of people signed up for it. And it's just to get more people interested and show all the career paths there are, and there's so many things you can learn. You never stop learning with horses. So.
Sure. And you said you also organise careers courses. So what do those look like, and how would people get involved with them?
So the careers course is something we do every couple of years. It's usually around November time. Obviously, it's a bit tricky this year with everything that's happening, but we will be running it at some point. And it's basically a day of having various people from different aspects of the industry. We have people that are stud managers, people in nominations, marketing. We have vet nurses come in, sales houses, so people from Tattersalls will come in and talk. We have agents, Weatherby's who deal with all the stud book and passporting. it's just showing all the various options that there are. So we do a morning's introduction. We'll have, someone that will do a overview of the industry, and then we have almost workshop sessions. So you pick which 4 topics you'd be most interested in, and it's a 45-minute workshop with an industry professional, and you can essentially ask them whatever you want. Ask them how they got into it, ask them what they think the best option would be if you're interested in doing it, ask them what they do in the day. They're kind of there to help, as it were. And then we also show off any of the courses that are available for people to do. For example, the BHA grad scheme. We've had a couple of people that came from some of the universities around the country, had never even heard of these courses, went on and applied for them, managed to get onto the courses, and are now working in the industry. So it's kind of proof that it's working, if that makes sense, which is great. We also have a couple of guys from the Godolphin Flying Start come in as well and have a chat about that, because that's obviously a fantastic opportunity. If you're able to get on it, it's amazing. It takes you around the world and you speak to some incredible people. So, and we try and do a bit of a networking evening if we can as well. So we did, previous years, we've had one at the Tap Room in Newmarket, which is one of the restaurants, and we've had industry professionals there all night, and everyone really sort of low-key. You can walk around, have a chat with them, informal. It's a nice way to meet people and make contacts. I think the year after that, we did it at the Jockey Club Rooms in Newmarket, which went down really well, because it's amazing. There's so much history, and all the Stubbs paintings and Eclipse's hooves and all sorts. It's a special place to be in, it's particularly if you don't live in Newmarket, you've never been there before. So it's quite an exciting thing to do, and we're hoping to get a few more bits and pieces together over the next year, or I'm hoping we'll be able to do a bit more. So
great. And so people can find out information about all the things that you offer by looking on Google for the Thoroughbred Club. That'd be the best place to go.
Yeah. Go onto Google and put in the Thoroughbred Club. You'll find the website there. We've got all the details about what we do, about the team. So obviously I'm Lace's chairperson that's doing it. But we have a great team, a great committee made up of people across the industry, stud managers, agents, people who work at auction houses, insurance, all sorts. So get in touch. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're quite active. We try to be. And if you're interested, come along, come and see what we're about.
Well, thanks very much, Claudia. Thank you ever so much for your time as well. Now, I know that because you're living on site, you're the one person manning the office at the moment. So we better not keep you too long, but really appreciate your time. And I'd really encourage anybody under the age of 35 to come and check out the Thoroughbred Club and see some of the things that you're offering to people, to give them some insights into the industry and get them involved in many different capacities. So Claudia, thank you ever so much for your time. Best of luck with the rest of the breeding season. I hope it goes well. Keep pimping out Dabawi and all the others. And it'd be great if you came along to one of our events. So I'll send you an invite when we're up and going.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Thanks, Claudia. Cheers.
Thanks very much.